Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. This is part 3 of silaging the barley in 2023. And I'm just sitting here waiting because I gotta wait, otherwise the crop is gonna dry out too fast. But I figured I would take this time to answer a bunch of your questions from my last video, 2 videos ago, for a Q&A. So this is kind of like simultaneous get to know me, get to know more about the farm kind of Q&A is what it looks like. So there's gonna be a lot of talking, so if that's not your shtick, then I guess you're gonna have to wait until the next video. Have you visited any other goat farms since your brother does farm tours at other farms? I haven't. I'm not as social a person as my brother is. So I tend to get really nervous around people that I don't know and in places that I'm not familiar with. I'm not as comfortable with sticking a camera in people's faces and asking them questions. Like if I was gonna do a farm tour video, it would be really awkward. So that's the reason why I haven't done it. I might decide to do it in the future, but for now I'm gonna hold off because honestly, I am too busy to be able to visit other people's farms. Did any of you kids go to college? I did. I went to the University of Saskatchewan. My degree is a Bachelor of Fine Arts with a focus in drama acting. So it's a completely different degree than what most people think I have. I didn't go to ag. That was the plan in the beginning, and then I was like, you know what? I have a huge passion for the arts and I love telling stories. So I decided to try acting. It ended up that I decided to come back to the farm because that's where I feel the most happiest. That's where I feel the most fulfilled, as you guys can probably tell. But I feel that it's really helped me with my YouTube channel because I have directed my own play, I've written my own plays, I have acted in plays, and I have worked as a stage manager behind the scenes as well, just all to help with building my degree. So I feel that it's really given me a strength in storytelling and being able to speak coherently and clearly for the camera, and it helps me to create a storyline within my own personal story on the farm, if that makes sense. So I do feel that I do use it every day. It's not that it's gone to waste. What do you kids do in your free time when you're not farming? More farming. For me, I do the farm chores here that have to do with the dairy, and then my hobbies are, I guess, working with the horses and any other animals that I have. The goats are kind of like my side job. For now, it's all input right now and no money making, but the goal is to create my own goat farm. How do you and your brother and sister find time for a social life with the hours you work? I don't have a social life. I live with my fiance. We got engaged in February, which answers another question that is coming up that I've noticed. So the social aspect of life is pretty much spent with my fiance. But yeah, my brother makes time for a social life like maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks when he gets the chance. And my sister also, every 1 or 2 weeks. We're all willing to take shifts for each other in order to make it work so that somebody can have a little bit of time off. I like to travel to the mountains if I can, or just have a day to go somewhere. Have you ever thought about putting solar panels or a wind turbine on the farm? We have had a conversation about this recently actually, and it's just very, very expensive, and most farmers do not have the money to put in to solar panels because there's a pretty massive upfront cost and also an installation cost and then an upkeep cost if something breaks down. So we would rather put that money into machinery or improvements on the barn instead of into solar panels. How and who determines milking and other chores? Our chores are just kind of divvied up so that everybody gets enough hours. to be able to support themselves. So that's kind of how that works. I have a decent amount of milkings, I have some calf feedings, and then I obviously have a bunch of cleaning duties that I like to do so that we're all sort of even between, you know, tedious chores and fun chores. My most favorite job on the farm and least favorite job. I don't really have a specific favorite job on the farm. Like, I love milking cows, I love feeding calves, I like cutting. There isn't really something that I like more above all the other chores, but I do have a least favorite chore, and that's probably bedding up animals. Like, I really love the end product and being able to look at the animals in their clean bedding, being like, yeah, that looks good, but I hate the process of it just because it gets so dusty, and I hate wearing masks. So that's probably my least favorite job, but I don't really have a particular favorite job. Like, I also like the cleaning aspect of the farm, so I'm pretty chill in that regard. Do you breed to have polled Holsteins? We do breed to have polled Holsteins, but we do have to do the dehorning process, which isn't something that I'll show on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like that. So I refrain from showing anything like that, but we do dehorn our animals for their own safety. It's just like when I mentioned it about disbudding goats. Sometimes, especially bovines, they get really aggressive and they know that they have horns, and Holsteins typically will have horns that shoot out straight from their skull, so it's really easy for them to tear into other cows. So that's why we choose to dehorn them, because of the safety aspect, and we don't really like it if they're gonna start goring each other up. How many goats do you have now and plan to have? Well, I would like to get my own yard eventually. I have currently about 30 goats. So my plan is to get to probably like 700 or 800 at some point, because I would like to be a goat farmer. And how long does it take to care for your goats and your horses? Honestly, it depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I just want to get things done really quick, and then I will try to observe them, but typically it takes about an hour, give or take. Why do you grow the crops you do? For us, barley is really good because it's able to grow quite well, but we're gonna start moving more towards winter rye, I think, because it looks like it's doing better for us tonnage wise. It's planted in the fall, and then when the weather turns and spring comes and the snow melts, it's immediately giving the winter rye a little bit of a boost for moisture, and it seems to be working well for us. So we're going to be trying to do a lot more winter rye this fall for next year, and it just works because we're really in a drought right now. So that's, you know, you need all the help you can get in regards to moisture for the crop. Is it hard to make friends working the hours you have to work on the farm? Yeah. But I personally don't really hang out with a lot of people. I'm really happy just spending the time with my animals and my fiance, obviously, so I don't really feel the need to have many friends. I have a few close friends that I've known for many, many years, like JD. She was in a video probably 2 years ago now, I think, and she's my horse's farrier, so she comes to trim feet every 6 weeks, and of course I pay her to do that, but it's kind of like a little catch up every time she comes to trim horses' feet. And I have a few other friends that I don't get to hang out with very often, but when I do, it's like we never stopped hanging out. So I feel that quality over quantity is important. Like, I probably have 3 friends that I can say that we can hang out after a really long time of not hanging out, and then it's like it never stopped, and that's more than good enough for me. So we are a few hours later. but I had a couple more questions for the Q&A that I thought I would answer. And one of them is, how old am I? Well, I am 27. I'm a 96 baby. So all of you folks thinking that I was younger, I'm not. I know I look really young, and I probably act really young too. Funny story, 2 months ago I went into the liquor store, and it was the first time I did not get ID'd in the liquor store, so that was fun. I mean, obviously that means I'm looking older, or maybe I'm acting older, I don't know, but I was really excited about that. And another question is, how much older am I than my 2 siblings? Because I know a lot of people think that Jan is older than me. He is not. He is actually 3 years younger than I am, and Miriam is 4 years younger, so there's a little bit of an age gap between the siblings, but we all still get along decently well. So I just made a pass over a swath here, and I realized that there's a dead coyote, so if you guys don't want to see something like that, don't look. But yeah, it's like right in the swath here. Don't want this in the swath, obviously, because we don't need that in the cow feed. So I'm just kicking it out. It's pretty decomposed and gross. Like dry. This isn't like a wet rot anymore. But that still does not need to be in the swath, so that was an interesting find. You can see his face right there. The jaw is detached too. Don't know why that one's there. But there's a little tuft of hair there too. Pretty sure I got most of it out, but it's not ideal to have a dead animal in the feed. Look at all those grasshoppers. Gross. So we're done this pit, and that's where we're starting another new one. One final question for the Q&A. Miriam, everybody wants to know why you don't have a YouTube channel.
I think 2's enough, 3's fine.
That's good enough reason for me. Yeah. The last day of barley silage, and I'm on my 4th swath of the day. I started cutting like 6:40 this morning, but it's already been interesting. I don't know if you guys remember, but we ended up getting some hemp straw bales earlier this year for the winter, and I'm noticing it even now in the field. I had a pretty nasty plug up where the hemp just got stuck between the knives and it seized the whole knife or the whole sections. So like it's just stuck and the knives don't move in between the guards. So that was fun to take out. And there's about a swath in between me and Jan who's chopping. And you can see right there kinda, that's where it plugged up. There was just a whole pile of hemp straw there and it just plugged up the knives, so that's unfortunate. I really hope that doesn't happen again, because I know that I'm just gonna end up being super frustrated if that does happen. But yeah, that's where I plugged up. There was a little pile on this end here. And yeah, just super frustrating. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen again. So this is our newest field that I'm cutting on. And it looks like there's a piece of metal that I just skipped over, so I'm going to go grab that so it doesn't create a problem in the future. Not a piece of metal, but I'm gonna pick it up anyways because we don't like garbage in our fields. I don't know what that is actually. Just a bunch of rubber. So that's not the only piece of garbage I found today. I also found this piece of metal earlier. Not sure where it came from, but it is really old. Got stuck right between the sections here. You can see where it started cutting. It just completely seized up the entire table, so yeah, that was interesting. That happened pretty early on this morning and I was really frustrated, especially with the hemp piles. So yeah, that's what I see another. Okay, that's definitely gonna cause a problem. Good thing I stopped to check for that other thing, because this is definitely gonna ruin our day. Holy crap. Okay. Well, that's definitely not something you want through the swather or the chopper. Well, that was a God-given coincidence. If I hadn't stopped for that piece of rubber, I might not have noticed that pole. So yeah. Interesting. I've never found a piece of metal that big, so I'm really happy I found that. Look at that, it's the whole posse. That's pretty cool. That's Brent. Jan was on the chopper. And there goes Dennis in his truck. And then Reese is last in that third truck there. So they're finally coming to chop that last piece out there. We're almost there, guys. So, since I know a couple of you are probably gonna ask, there used to be an old yard site on this piece of land with a really old house and an old shed. And actually, as kids, we used to walk here with our great aunt and uncle whenever they would come over. It was just kind of like a little tradition. We would go, not hiking necessarily, but go on a walk. So that's probably where that metal post came from. A while ago, the original owner of this land actually burnt that house down, like to clean up whatever was left of it, and I guess it's just a bunch of leftover debris. And I actually totally forgot about that house even existing, if it weren't for my sister reminding me just now. So yeah, interesting stuff, but that definitely would have ruined our day. What the heck? So I picked up this thing and this thing. So this is my beautiful collection of things that could have gone into the chopper, all of which would have wrecked it. So, and my mom and my dad and my sister also went and picked through some of the swaths because there was still some wood left in there. So yeah, a lot of junk in that field.
I know. Okay, good. That's it now, good.
Yeah. How's that taste, Dennis?
Extra crunchy.
Almost done.
Almost done. Couldn't get it done before the rain, but
Yeah.
that was plastic.
And there comes Dad with the tires. Really? Oh no, you're not.
Yeah, of course.
Wet.
Well, that's a good way to end silaging. Hopefully this helps our alfalfa. Well, it looks like we only got enough rain to keep the dust down for a day or two, so that's unfortunate, but I guess rain is rain at this point. I think that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for coming along for the Barley Silage 2023. The next and last round of silaging will be the alfalfa in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. And if you guys did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe and share it with a friend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.